Hello and welcome back to NoBS. Today we turn to talking about Father's Day and specifically Father's Day in relation to the latest video game that came out just a few days before it called Last of Us Part 2. This game, of course, has been highly controversial this year. It's been causing lots of stirs across the social medias, across video game fandoms, other websites. YouTube has had lots of videos about it, Twitter. Everyone's talking about Last of Us Part 2, and it finally came out last week. And needless to say, it's still been mired in controversies. We talked about it last time a few days ago, and we saw that that really brutal love scene was shared and got leaked right before it came out. That was pretty weird. And now, today, we're talking about how The Last of Us kind of is crapping on Father's Day. They're trying to be anti-father, too. We've seen it kind of happen this way for many, many years, ever since the whole cultural shift since 2016. Everything's been about hating guys and making sure that fathers feel bad. They're always portrayed as deadbeats and dumb people on TV. That's something that's happened for generations. But previously, it was more fun and kind of a goof, like, say, how the Family Guy is a dumb, bad dad. Like, it's funny and endearing in some ways. Same thing with, like, The Simpsons and other kinds of comedies like that. But recently, in recent years, it's all about making the fathers out to be evil and bad and kind of these representations of what they call the patriarchy. These leftists and SJWs, the ones behind this Last of Us game, the ones that are running places like Sony, the company that made it, and they're very, very much in this culture war. And a lot of it's more about pushing these policies and this propaganda over actually making money and giving the video game players what they want to see. They don't really care what we want to play or what we want to do or watch anymore. They're more about pushing their agendas, and that's coming out in full force with this new game. We're going to talk about how The Last of Us has crapped on dads. We're going to talk a little bit about the story, get into some spoilers, and then kind of explain how not only did they do it in their game, but also on Twitter, The Last of Us kind of trolled Father's Day. So we'll get to all that real soon, but first, let's take a quick moment to check out our sponsor. With all this talk about diseases and other viruses spreading around and people required to wear face masks all over the place, why not get yourself a very professional one from Freedom Mask today? And if you order from NoBS, you can save up to 60% on this very comfortable, very stylish new mask that also has washable filters. Most importantly, it'll keep you safe. It'll protect you from contaminants. It stays safe from polluted air and environmental pathogens and all that stuff. So it's a good deal and only available to the audience today. So I'm very excited to offer it to you. You can get 60% off if you order just by clicking the link below this video. Make sure you check out that exclusive link. Check it out, support the show, and get yourself a Freedom Mask today. Great, now that that's out of the way, let's get back to talking about The Last of Us and Father's Day. This tweet was very interesting and kind of gave us a little hint of what was going on. It came out on Father's Day. It's from Naughty Dog, the creators of the game. This is what they had to say. They said, "Wishing you all a happy Father's Day." And then there's a quick little shot from the game. You see Joel, and he's playing guitar with his old friend Ellie. And the point of the matter is, and the reason this is significant, isn't just the fact that, yes, there is this kind of father-daughter relationship in The Last of Us. That was a big part of the first game. Joel was escorting Ellie across the country, trying to save her life and possibly all of humanity's life. And him protecting her was like the big theme from the original game. But you got to remember, the original game came out in around 2013, and that was a very different time. 7 years ago doesn't seem like that long, but back then you could still have these good father figures. You could still have positive male role models. But since then, since we've gotten through a lot since then, like in 2016 election, the culture war, Ghostbusters 2016 came out, the rise of feminism and SJW stuff, all that's been happening. So it's caused the kind of shift that now they're kind of trying to course correct in The Last of Us Part 2. Now, getting into the story of the new game and the sorts of spoilers we're going to talk about, basically, most people already know, but Joel gets killed in the first 2 hours of the new game. Joel is the main character of the first game. He's really endearing, really kind of heartfelt. He protects Ellie. He'll do anything for her, but he gets killed. He gets killed off really early on, and it's basically a kind of anti-father, anti-male move. Because not only are they taking down a big main character from the original game, but also the person taking down Joel is significant too, because of course he's being taken down by an alphabet person named Abby, this kind of like male slash female, like transitioning person, takes Joel down with the golf club. And it's really just ridiculous the way it goes down too, because I think from what I heard about the story, they didn't even know if this was the right Joel. Like Abby's like hunting down Joel because apparently Joel killed her parents in the first game. Like her parents were some side characters that pop up at the very end. And now she's going around trying to avenge their death. But what's kind of funny about that is she basically just kills anyone named Joel. I mean, Joel isn't the most popular name in the world, but it is pretty common. I'm sure there's lots of Joels out there across the country, even in this post apocalyptic setting. So basically, Abby's been going around killing Joels ever since her parents died. And that ended up happening in this new game right in the beginning, which is, first 2 hours of a 20-hour game is basically like killing your main character in the first 5 minutes of a movie. And that's what's happened here. And you make no mistake, this kind of tweet, with all that in mind, this tweet from Naughty Dog is a troll move. They're saying, hey, happy Father's Day, wink, wink. We know that this character dies in our game, and that was a big part of their story. That was a big part of their push. They literally smashed the patriarchy, took down the strong male character with an alphabet character who becomes the new main character that you play as. And then on top of that, all the other characters are girls. It's Ellie and her girlfriend, and it's just like a girl takeover. And that's why a lot of people are saying this is like the Ghostbusters 2016 of this year, and it's happening before the election too. It's the summer. There's not a lot else going on right now with all this virus canceling a lot of movies and other events. So The Last of Us is kind of the big thing, the big kind of cultural push, and they're really going anti-Father's Day, like on Father's Day. And the other thing worth noting and stressing is they released the game a few days before Father's Day. So that's not just a coincidence. That was something they thought through and planned. And, maybe they had a few other release dates. I know this game got delayed a few times, but at the end, they decided, hey, we'll come out a few days before Father's Day. We'll be able to tie it in and kind of go anti-dad. It's like going against the whole Father's Day feel, like you're supposed to celebrate fathers, not smash them and literally kill them in your game. And that's not just something that this video game does too. If you search fathers and mothers on your, say, Twitter or something, you could see a lot of people were going after the holiday over the weekend. They were trying to like overtake the holiday, say, oh, fathers are cool, but what about the mothers? And it's kind of ridiculous because we already had Mother's Day. Like Mother's Day was just a month ago or so, like a few weeks ago, and now fathers are having their turn, but they can't let them have it, as you could see by these tweets. This one says, happy Father's Day to the guy who cheated on the mother of his first 3 children, like kind of bringing up bad stuff here. Here y'all go with Mother's Day again. Look, I ain't saying y'all wrong, but let the fathers who actually be in the kid's life enjoy it. Yeah, the point is there are good fathers out there, lots of good fathers out there. I have a great father. I have a great grandfather, all this stuff. Like families aren't all supposed to be like anti-dad, anti-male. And that just seems to be the vibe on Twitter and other platforms, like which are dominated by liberals. Liberals are the ones that get all these check marks and special treatment. They can say whatever they want. They don't get censored or deleted or kind of silenced, put into these shadow bans. And yeah, it's just sickening and pretty lame that they'll bring this up like on Father's Day. It's like trying to like bring up bad things about a person on their birthday, like, oh yeah, Scott's cool and it's his birthday and all, but let's not forget that he once got pulled over and arrested because he was drinking and driving. Like that's the kind of thing you just don't bring up. And it's the same kind of thing. Like if you brought up Father's Day on Mother's Day, I would say the same thing. It goes both ways. But these guys don't realize that, and they don't have any perspective. Here, Jack P says something relative. He says, fatherhood is mocked in commercials, TV shows, and movies, the butt of every joke. This needs to end. Society needs fathers just as much as mothers. And that's a great point. And I think that's important to point out in this day and age, especially around Father's Day. We should be defending them and showing how important they are and how good a strong family can make in your whole society. I mean, strong families make strong communities that can build great cities, and that's how we've built this wonderful country, was off of the kind of basis of, men and women getting married, having kids, buying a house and a dog and a car, and doing that over and over again. It's built this great society. But now the left really wants to kind of deconstruct that. They want to take us back to a time almost like apocalyptic time. I mean, that's another reason this whole Naughty Dog tweet is relative here. I mean, they kind of want to destroy our society, if you think about it. That's how I feel a lot of times, like when you see this anti-father propaganda, this anti-male stuff, it's really anti-family too. They don't want you to get together in a group and be independent. They want you to be leaning on the state more. They want the Democrats, they want all the power. So they try and kind of deconstruct the family. That's why they encourage things like, single mothers. They give single mothers benefits and all this extra incentive to have babies and not get married. And that's what creates these poor communities, these poor like systems that, those kids don't have a father, so they don't get to be raised right. They don't get to have proper attention. And it's just a kind of deconstruction of our society. It's very Marxist. It's very anti-American, like American values and like our Christian base, like where this country started from was like, getting married, having kids, all that stuff. You don't have to do that either. Like no one's saying, oh, everyone has to get married. And there's also nothing wrong with other sorts of relationships. Like alphabet people are fine too. We're all welcome in this community. But the point of the matter is, this is all building up. We're in an anti-male world. And The Last of Us Part 2 is really pushing that hardcore. And it has a lot to do with their story and the way they put it out there and the way they take down Joel early on. And Joel was the character in the first game. He would have done anything for Ellie. He did a lot of saving her life, a lot of, escorting her across the country, stopping all these bad guys. They were going to like kill her at the end of that game and use her as a science experiment, and he saved her there. And then the fact that the favor doesn't get returned in this game is rather odd because, the girl, Ellie, she tries to avenge Joel, but you got to remember there's an ending to this game that people are talking about now, and this gets to more spoilers, but basically, Ellie decides to go after Joel's killer, Abby. Ellie goes after Abby, but by the end of the game, she decides to let her go, and they just like let her go, and it's just like this weak, anticlimactic ending where she doesn't avenge her father's death. Like Joel is basically her father, like more of a father than a lot of people would have. And they're like family. They've been together for so long, and Joel would have done anything for her. But Ellie decides to just give up at the end because because Abby's, alphabet and woke, and we're trying to be like woke in this game. And it's just a very anticlimactic ending and a very kind of anti-father message that needs to stop. That about wraps things up. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope you also had a happy Father's Day weekend like we all did in my family. And in addition, if you're playing The Last of Us and you think this video is relevant, make sure you comment some thoughts on it below. Comment if you haven't played 2, if you have any other ideas, you want to talk about Last of Us drama and all kinds of other stuff, let me know in the comments. Also, hit that like button to get this video shared. And until next time, have a great day.